what would you say are your top tips? So we all know this is really important and we want to do it. And giving it regularly sounds like it's a really, really important tip. But how do you sort of go about doing it? What are the top things that, particularly, let's start with managers, that managers need to have in mind and for giving good feedback?
Sure. So it's a great question. I'm going to give you three. I'll give you three tips. And this way, these are all things I thought carefully about. What would be three things people can do between now and Thanksgiving, even like right away?
Wow.
Right. So three things that you can do that would immediately make you better at feedback as a manager. So one would be, when we get off this call today, take 5 minutes and honestly answer this question for yourself. Say, as a feedback giver, the one thing I need to do more often is blank, right? So completing that sentence for yourself will give you some clarity. What's the one thing you don't do often enough? And we'll talk about a couple different things today, but you know your own feedback better than anyone else. So what's one thing you don't do often enough? So answer that question. That's number one. Number two, praise more often. Especially with COVID, people need to feel motivated. There's lots of research showing, especially if you give praise around progress, that people are making progress. When we're working at home alone, we feel like, does anyone see what I'm doing, right? Praise really motivates. And then the third thing would be, find out what people's goals are. I know that you're doing your PDCs right now, and there's a question in there about 6 months from now, what do you want to have achieved? But you can ask this question a bunch of different ways. You can ask people like, so, what's a skill you really want to develop, or what's a skill you're not getting to use right now? And the reason it's important to know people's goals, even outside of that form, is you can then hang your feedback onto that goal. So if you know that someone wants to, let's say work with higher profile clients, okay, you can then say as their manager, all right, I know you want to work with higher profile clients. Here are two things you can do that are going to make that more likely for you. So knowing people's goals, there's lots of research showing that this is much more motivating if you can hang it on to someone's goals.